had some problems with some recommendations. Obviously, the recommendation about the pension system, they're all right, but even the authors of that recommendation, I know it was not you, I know it was the Polish experts mainly, were not able to explicitly say how to do it. This is always the biggest problem. For example, you recommend to integrate the special scams of military and police to total system, but we know that many countries. I think it's even part of the. It's even because I think it shouldn't be recommendations. Should be somewhere in diagnosis. Because in one of the recommendations, you simply state that a lot of countries have problems with this, with integrating the pension systems for military and police to general system. And so I think we should somehow deal with that. I mentioned that the reform of the system of agricultural pensions should be accompanied by the reform of taxes. And you don't mention it, but it's quite popular view now, and it's even I can say the boss from my second job, Michał Boni, is working very hard on that to convince coalition partners from Polish PSL party to agree for some reform of the Polish system for agricultural pensions, and it seems that it's possible to make it gradual. I mean, to start with the richest farmers only, for example, with those with the incomes higher than, or those with lands with land plots bigger than, for example. Yes? So I think that and because frankly speaking, I cannot see the general and really deep reform of this system to be implemented in the next 5 years at least, or even 10. Strictly from political point of view, it will be very hard unless we have some crisis like Greece or whatever, and then we will have someone with special rights and like Pastor in '98. Yes, he could do whatever he wanted, almost. But now it's quite hard. And then there's a lot of recommendations that I simply don't know much about the health, and I don't know. The recommendations on the labor market are for me they were quite obvious, but I was very surprised. My next surprise was a recommendation, but to link the public sector wages, because that's how we formulate it in the document, to link the public sector wages to CPI. Now I understand that you mean wage bill as such, but I think it has to be said explicitly, if you still can work on this document, that it doesn't have to be achieved by keeping public wages low, because they are still low. Wage bill is high, but public wages of the individual worker are quite low in Poland. And if we want to improve the effectiveness, and one of chapters of our document Poland 2030 is how to improve the effectiveness of state sector, and I think it cannot. It has to be done by obviously reduction of number of employees, but the reduction of number of employees has to be transformed in increasing real wages. For example, I think that currently part of the problem in the Polish public sector is that we have maybe not pure, but some kind of adverse selection. So obviously we have passionates, and we have those who really want to work for government. They want to work for public administration, but some of those who go to public sector as those who simply couldn't find themselves in any other job, because general wage level, especially, obviously we can have very good directors of departments and vice ministers and so on, but the work is done by those who are writing basic documents, who are dealing with basic issues, and these people are, I think they are underfinanced, and I think that's why administration tries to make these tricky solutions with increasing the number of posts and financing higher wages by simply theoretically theoretical vacancies. I don't know if you know that, for example, about half of, this is my field, so about half of, maybe now it's not true, but a few years ago, about half of workers of Polish employment service were those who were on the active programs, like subsidized wages or public works. So they were, so due to problems with budget, so they were like hiring people to work in public employment service through labor market programs. I think it does a lot of. I mean, minutes. Okay? And I think that obviously the document is only about social spendings. Also, sometimes it tells about incomes, but we have to remember that social spendings are not the only spending problem for Poland. We wrote in our document 2007 that there are a lot of investments that have to be done from public money. Infrastructure, not only transport but digital. Education is, I think it's still under invested. The quality of public administration. If we want to, and you don't mention it at all in your analysis of the social sector. We have to improve our system of family assistance to make simply having children profitable. To make, and this is something we should work on. And there are also a lot of EU 2020 guidelines. We have to invest in green economy. Also, we don't like it possibly most of people here, but if we want to follow the guidelines, we have to pretend we are investing in the green economy. Also, we are really investing in the economy, and we have to invest in social inclusion and cohesion, however we understand it. And if the cohesion funds in the EU budget will be cut, and will be cut for sure, we'll have to invest it for our own money. So, and I think that the cut of EU money can come much quicker than we think due to Greek crisis, maybe coming other crises. EU money will be used to EU budget. Maybe not now yet, but in few years can be used to save bankrupting southern economies. So I think we for example, you speaking about the reform of agricultural pensions. You said that we can count on EU money to smooth out the transition, but possibly we shouldn't assume that we will have EU money in the next budgeting period, which is starting in 2013, so it's quite soon. We can have some EU money, but not this amount as now. So I think that large part of investments we have to finance and are currently financed by EU. We have to be financed purely by Polish resources, and I think this is an important issue one should think about when talking about Polish spending priorities. I think I could even suggest to the subject for the next public expenditure review is now to instead of thinking how to reduce part of spendings. I think it would be very interesting to have that because now as the team of Minister Boni, we are working on the document which is the strategy of development of Poland for 2030, 2020, and so on. And this is in general you can summarize as the plan of what are the Polish spending priorities, yes? And where to take money from, when to take money from to finance this spending. So I think it would be very interesting to see in the next year or 2 years the report. What are the Polish spending priorities in the next 10 years, for example?
Thank you very much. I mean,